A $900,000 grant. The governor says the MDEA will use it to investigate meth sales. All about the economy in Washington. It looks like the House of Representatives will approve a compromise today. Kevin Carroll, the real-life prosthetist behind that technology, continues to educate around the world, and he made a stop in Portland today. Check out this 100-year-old tree that came toppling down last night, crushing this car right here. Luckily, nobody was inside at the time. And we've learned that the driver of the hayride as well as the narrator of the hayride are both in critical condition this morning. This portion of South Rumford Road is closed to traffic, and you can see why. Look at how much of this road was washed out. Same one that we've seen the past couple of days all across northern New England. Check this out this morning. A thick coating of ice on all of the trees. This is making trees heavy. From the moment they touch the water,
we got this, girl! We got this!
To the moment they cross the finish line. These women will tell you the feeling is hard to describe.
There are no words to describe it. It's just over the top awesome.
But each one has a different answer when you ask them why they tried.
You did it! I don't think anybody can say that they haven't been touched by cancer somehow. They either know someone, like my friend Ryan here.
Ryan was diagnosed with a brain tumor at 20 months old.
And when I was very small, I had 15 months of chemo and then just finished 18.
You're awesome!
And how are you doing today?
Good. Considering I just ran a quarter mile, I think I'm pretty good.
Finishing before anyone else in her third year at the try, cancer survivor Heidi Watson.
My goal was to be one of the top 3 survivors every year, and I finally achieved it.
Diagnosed with thyroid cancer in 2011, Watson was inspired by a friend in 2012.
Just to be healthy enough and well enough to be able to achieve it after a year after surgery.
Many of the more than 1,400 women here are cancer survivors. Each year, that group seems to grow.
One year, there was a woman next to me who couldn't have been even 30, and I said, "You're too young to be here." And she said, "We're all too young to be here." And so it amazes me, the people that come out and do this.
One breast cancer survivor getting the surprise of a lifetime. Her boyfriend of 5 years proposing at the finish line.
I feel exhausted and excited, and I feel like I'm going to pass out. I'm so excited.
Well, we've been dating for over 5 years now, and this is a very special event for us. So being 3 years cancer-free, I thought it was as good a time as any.
And it was, because she said yes. In South Portland, Katie Thompson, WMTW News 8.
He just had deep courage we're struggling to summon.
Outside of their Rochester home, the parents of James Foley speaking publicly for the first time since their son was killed at the hands of Islamic militants.
He felt this was his passion, his mission in life.
Yep.
It's just what he wanted to do.
October of 2012, 1 month before his capture, was the last time the freelance photojournalist was here at his New Hampshire home.
I think the reason he went back is because he felt committed to the people who were trying to become free.
His parents say his love for what he did always outweighed the many risks he faced.
He was all about humanizing human struggle. The data, the truth, all were very important to him, but most important was touching the souls of people who were in struggle.
This, he felt, was his mission, and so he died for that compassion and that love, and I pray that he can be remembered that way.
Over the past 2 years, the Foley family has had no contact with their son, his letters confiscated by militants, never making it home. Instead, they heard stories from hostages who had been released.
He was always the first guy in line, the one who would take the bullet first, the one who would speak to the guards about inequities in food. He was never a slacker.
Jim was a great American, and he believed in the very best of our country.
The family has a message for those behind their son's death.
We beg compassion.
And mercy.
We beg compassion and mercy of Jim's captors, for Stephen Sotloff, and for the other captors. We just beg mercy. They never hurt anybody. They were trying to help.
Beginning Monday, this post office on Route 202 in East Winthrop will reduce its hours. But for the people who live here, also on Monday, this office will be missing a very familiar face. For 35 years, David Shepard has spent his days working for the U.S. Postal Service. For the past 12, he served as postmaster for this small post office in East Winthrop.
You're almost like a bartender in a way. People come in and they talk to you and they make good conversation and you get to know people pretty well.
A staple in the community, a familiar face in town.
He's very kind to all his customers that come in. I think I'm going to get teary-eyed already.
He's known to help in any way he can.
Hello, dear.
And that is what David Shepard says he loves the most.
It's a job that you can help people and get their important documents and packages to the people that they love, and they kind of rely on you, especially where there's no other place to go.
Post offices in rural areas of Maine are changing. In 2012, the Postal Service released what it called the Post Plan, which will cut window hours at rural post offices as an alternative to closing them. By next week, you'll see more than 200 post offices across the state scale back hours and staff.
Supposedly, there won't be a postmaster anymore in this office. It'll be a clerk that runs the office rather than a postmaster, because they're cutting a lot of postmaster jobs.
Full-time postmasters at affected locations will have their jobs cut by next year, which is why today, David Shepard is leaving this office as postmaster for the last time.
Godspeed.
Okay. It's become a part-time job, and instead of moving on to another office, I just decided a couple of years ago that I'd probably retire instead of moving on.
It's safe to say he will be missed.
You take care now.
Okay.
What's next for you?
Oh, just taking it easy. Clean out my garage.
So when this office opens on Monday, it'll open at 10:30, not 7:30, and it'll close at 4:30. For a full list of post office hours, you can head to our website, WMTW.com.